sometimes I think I'm too young to say messages or give messages out to people. I'm only 33 and I just feel like a youngster. But I do have some life experiences, and as a male, I've noticed, even when I was a young kid, the toughest thing as a male was to express my feelings. So as a competitor and as a male competitor, when I needed help in a specific area in my competition, it was hard for me to reach out to somebody and go, I need help. I need someone to encourage me or to help me improve my game in surfing. I eventually found someone that was willing to help me. But then as a, being male, there's the other sides of life, my personal life, that I found I didn't want to share with anybody else because I felt weak and I felt like I was not man enough to deal with it on my own. And now it's an area that suffered a lot, and as a male, and hopefully I can reach out to other men, whatever problems you have, you can talk. You have the ability, and if you choose to speak with anyone about anything, you should. Any worry, even sharing your happy times with someone. When I learned to open myself to people, like share my problems, I felt like I grew as a person, and I was able to confront and negotiate my way through life a lot easier once I could express my feelings clearly, and it felt really good because the conversations I did have with a range of people, great things came out of it. Being a competitor, you can have some really down days. You can really go inside yourself and not come back out. and then you turn things into something that isn't what it is, and you just become your own problem. So if you're able to share your problems with someone, any kind of issue that you have, even if it's competing or if it's just anything, just sharing your feelings with someone is something that will relieve lots of pressure off yourself, and then you can see clearly again, and then you can go, yep, okay, I know what my focus is again, cool, and okay, I'll work on these small fine details of, say, my competition strategy, and put things in a process and a plan to become the, as we say in karate, the best person you can be. You're a unique person, and there's no one else like you on this world. I really am one of those kids that had nothing. I came from nothing but love in my home. I had two parents that cared for 6 children, and they worked really, really hard to clothe us and to have food on the table, to the point where they sacrificed their lives to push us forward. And that's an amazing thing for any person to do. I am fortunate enough that I have 2 parents that did that for me and my brothers and sisters. And on the outside I do have this new car, and I have these great sponsorships and these great deals where people will pay me money to travel overseas because I've got a talent. But with talent, I had to work hard at keeping it. And I had ups and downs, and I had to push past those and to become a champion. Like, I never ever thought I could say I was a champion before, so I thought, you can't talk about yourself as being the best. But I believe if I never say that I'm the best, then I never acknowledge what I've done. and I don't acknowledge the people that have walked with me in becoming this champion I am. When you start competing with people often, you see their strengths and you see their weaknesses, and if you are clever enough and if you are flexible enough, you can combat those. So sometimes when I say that it's like a chess game, I've got a particular friend. He's a friend, I call him a friend, that I can beat him before we even go into the surf. You know, so I've already beaten him before we hit the surf. And what I do is I'll sit next to him, like maybe 2 or 3 heats beforehand, and because we're going to be in the same heat, I was going to tell him, man, these conditions are just exactly what I like. I love these kind of waves, man. I've been training lots in this kind of surf. And then I'll just go, oh man, I've got to just get some fluids in me. And what happens is his competitiveness starts thinking about that, and he starts beating himself. I do it all the time. And you watch him walk out to the surf, and I just only have to look at him once, and if his head is pointed down to the ground, it's done. The game's finished before it even started. And then I have another friend who's one of New Zealand's greatest surfers, and to beat him, all I have to do is to sit next to him in the surf. So we'll paddle out together, and I'll just sit side by side right next to him and just look at him and start talking to him, and that really puts him off. And if he catches a wave and he falls off, that's him, he's finished. He'll find it hard to come back from that. You know, there's just, once you understand your competitors, you can understand what kind of game you can play. But for myself, I regard myself as quite I could be more physically fit, and I could be more mentally tougher. Spiritually, yep, I'm pretty balanced in where I want to be in life. So all those things are, they're above average. Some of these other competitors, they'll be poor here, pretty good here, but So if I know I've got to have, I have to have a paddle battle with someone, I know I can keep up with them. Or if I know that I have to get a big score, like I'm coming second in the heat and I need about a 6.7 to progress into first, I know in my head that I can get that 6.7. Whereas some other guys can't. And so I can compete with all surfers on the physical side or the mental side of surfing, even right down to the nutritional side of being a competitor. I know if I've got the right foods in front of me, I could last all day in a competition and be fully fit and ready to go. I'm always prepared for so many scenarios. So say, the guy that I tried to talk to before we paddle out into the heat, he just switches and catches 2 wicked waves. Sweet as, all good. I'll be ready for that, It's just putting things in place and being ready for whatever comes out. And that's the game of chess, man. You just plant things in areas, and then you just see what kind of moves come out of it, and then, okay, here we go. I used to love competing on the East Coast. Gisborne and Raglan have a great competitive rivalry, and I've had more wins in Gisborne than I've had in Raglan, because I love the idea of beating the local surfers on their local break.
Hello, my name is Kiyo. I had an interview with Daniel a few weeks ago in Raglan. Now I'm back home in California and summarizing this project. I thought I may want to add a few points to end this project. Although I'm a management consultant and surfing is not the strongest of my hobbies, because I started surfing 4 years ago when I was 58, I thought I may want to add something, at least from my perspective. One of the things that pointed and was very interested from my point of view is that when he explained about getting into the tube or barrel, he mentioned about going through hundreds of feelings. To me, that's very interesting, especially tied to my experience in meditation and Zen. And what it means, at least in my view, is that to be able to do the right thing at the right time, you have to find and choose the right thing, pick up the right insight, and make action accordingly. Obviously, if you have fear or greed or some concerns, and if you are caught up with it, it won't help. So I don't know what he means by 100 feelings. But I picture it all depends on what he has accumulated over his life, and that's what he needs to go through. And if he can manage to process it, to choose the right insight, come up with the right insight and practice it, that's when he experienced this wonderful experience of getting into a tube. And obviously that's the story about surfing, but I see it apply in other sports, at work, or in our life. And that's what I think is quite interesting to me. I met many masters in management, those who run the company, or investors, and others. And what I found is that whoever is able to find the right path at the right time obviously succeed in what he does. And in there, it's certain discipline to control the mind, as well as to process, in this case, the physically and spiritually, as he mentioned, and have a balanced way of looking at situation and find the passage. So the topic here is surfing, but surfing in our life, in what we do, is something that we can gain out of what Daniel has explained to us. Such is my learning and confirmation, and I hope you gain some insight out of this short interview, and I wish you the best of your luck. Thank you.